Welcome to Silk Dreams. Tonight's Christmas sleep story is The Candlelight Visitor. Let's begin with a deep, easy breath, just letting the world grow softer around you. Outside, a quiet December evening settles over an old, small village where the rooftops are gently powdered with fresh snow. The chimneys exhale the faintest curl of smoke, and lanterns glow in silver-dusted windows. Tonight's tale takes us to a quiet street edged with pine boughs and twinkling fairy lights. The air is crisp and tinged with the scent of evergreens. If you imagine the soft crunch of snow beneath heavy boots, you're already on the path to our story's heart. At the heart of the village is a cozy shop, tucked between frosted bakery glass and a sleepy tailor's window. Warm candlelight spills past the bookshop's old wooden door. Books, stacked in gentle, tilting rows, hold thousands of memories. The air inside feels golden, sweetened with old paper, wax, and cinnamon from garlands that hang along the mantel. This is Edwin's bookshop. Tonight, as snow drifts quietly outside and each candle flickers patiently against the cold, Edwin is preparing for something special. Perhaps you feel as though you could step right inside, breathe in the soothing scent of pine and parchment, and let your shoulders settle, warm and unhurried. Tonight, you are welcome to rest, surrounded by comfort, in this gently timeless place. If you enjoy wandering sleepily through winter stories, you might visit other tales nestled in our Christmas Sleep Stories playlist. But for now, there is nothing to do except drift with me and let each gentle detail invite you a little farther along the sleepy evening. Let yourself imagine the soft shuffle of turning pages, the golden flicker of candle flames, and the cozy shelter of a story well told. We begin with Edwin and the warm heart of his bookshop on the eve of quiet magic. Edwin moved quietly around the bookshop, his footsteps soft against the worn wooden floor. The lamps lining the shelves grew dimmer, one by one, as he pinched each wick and watched the little flames curl into smoky threads. The low, golden light seemed to settle like a warm blanket nestled over the books, casting gentle shadows that danced across the bindings. He paused by the front desk, where a battered ledger rested beside a cup of cinnamon tea. He ran his hand across the smooth, stained oak, as if reassuring himself that all was well, just as it should be. In the steady flicker of the final lamp, Edwin straightened the nearest row of paperbacks so their spines lined up neatly. The familiar, quiet rustle of moving pages soothed the stillness. Outside, snow fell like fine lace against the old leaded windows. Sometimes, you can almost hear the soft, snowy quiet pressing gently on the glass, muffling every distant sound, making the world outside feel tender and far away. In the bookshop, the air shimmered with traces of old paper and wax, tinged faintly with cloves. Each deep breath seemed to invite a little more peace, and the gentle ticking of a porcelain clock on the counter marked time, as if it were only meant for this one quiet night. Take a slow, gentle breath here, allowing your body to relax just a little more with the hush of the evening. Edwin stooped to collect a stack of fairy tales left by the reading nook. His hands lingered on the covers, tracing gold-embossed letters with the careful touch of someone who believes every story has a secret pulse. The little arch of the shop's window offered him a glimpse of the street. Snow piling on window boxes, lanterns shining softly below evergreen garlands. He wound the old grandfather clock near the back wall, listening to its slow, contented chime echo beneath the beamed ceiling. A distant bell from the village church floated in through the walls, a musical reminder that others, too, were finding warmth and rest tonight. You might imagine standing there, listening, as muffled wind swirls between snowy houses. Perhaps you notice the comforting scents wrapping around you, the spice of cinnamon, the woodsy pine garlands, the mellow sweetness of aged paper. Edwin smiled to himself, a gentle, private moment, then trimmed the last candle and gathered up his thick woolen scarf. In his quiet, deliberate manner, he checked each lock and hinge, trusting that old rituals held a kind of cheerful magic. He paused one last time at the window, letting the peacefulness of the falling snow fill the small shop with a sense of timeless charm. With everything tended, Edwin stood a moment longer, surrounded by familiar comfort, as the snowy evening deepened beyond the glass. A gentle tapping sounded at the old bookshop door, barely more than the soft brushing of mittened hands. Edwin paused in the calm of the closing hour, then moved to the window and spied a familiar shape beneath the amber glow of the lantern. Standing outside was Mrs. Harper, his neighbor from 2 doors down. Her cheeks blushed with the chill, and her gray scarf shimmered with fine flecks of snow. She balanced a small willow basket on her arm, protected under a square of embroidered linen. Edwin opened the door with a gentle creak, ushering in a swirl of winter air and the happy scent of baking. Mrs. Harper stepped inside, stamping her boots softly on the mat. Her eyes sparkled behind wire spectacles. "Good evening, Edwin," she greeted softly, her voice warm with memory. "I thought you might like something warm for these snowy hours." Edwin smiled, a warmth blooming in his chest. "You always arrive at the perfect moment, Mrs. Harper." She smiled wider, setting the basket upon the counter and peeling back the cloth. "Fresh rosehip buns, baked just this afternoon. I saved the best for you." The steam rose delicately, sweet and earthy. You might almost taste the comfort in the air, hints of fruit, sugar, and a memory of summer petals now glimmering through the winter night. Edwin selected a bun, its crust soft, the top scattered with pearled sugar. "They look wonderful. You spoil the whole street, you know." Mrs. Harper gave a gentle laugh, her shoulders shaking ever so slightly. "If kindness is a sort of mischief, I suppose I am guilty." The two stood in companionable silence, the candles painting shifting gold along Mrs. Harper's silver hair and the wood plank floor. The ticking of the shop clock kept time with their breaths. "Will you have one with me?" Edwin offered, breaking his bun in two. She accepted, settling herself on the near stool. They ate slowly, savoring the warmth, the texture melting tenderly. "It's good to pause," she said, her gaze gentle. "There's so much to notice, how peaceful it feels, especially on nights like this." He nodded. "I think this old shop is never quite as magical as it is with company." Their conversation drifted, like snow falling outside, stories of past winters, village children building snowmen, wishes tied to old pine trees. Laughter chimed quietly, rounding the corners of the room in the comfort of old friendship. Soon Mrs. Harper gathered her scarf, folding a napkin around one last bun for Edwin to enjoy. She pressed his hand kindly, her palm warm, her hopes gentle, and uttered a soft, "Good night, dear." Edwin watched as she stepped into the winter's delicate quiet, her figure framed by the glowing street. He lingered at the door, feeling warmed, as though her kindness was its own gentle light. Returning to the counter, he savored the last rose-hip bun, its sweetness reminding him how even the smallest acts of friendship were the true magic of a winter night. The bookshop gradually drifted into a quiet so gentle it felt like the world itself was drawing a soft, woolen shawl closer around its shoulders. Edwin moved slowly now, every action imbued with the sleepy solemnity of night. The candles burned lower, their small flames making halos that danced along the spines of storybooks and cast soft waves of light across the ceiling beams. He placed the empty teacup in the saucer and let his hands rest on the smooth, familiar counter. The distant clock from the village square murmured another hour, its notes falling like soft snowflakes through the shuttered window. A subtle current, neither breeze nor sound, slipped through the bookshop. The candles, as if sensing a secret, flickered in a pattern almost like breath, slow, contented, and deeply calm. Shadows quivered, merging and stretching until a faint, luminous figure blossomed in the golden glow near the fireplace. Where one candle's light touched the hearth, a shape appeared, gentle and radiant, not of this world, but made of all its familiar comforts. The visitor's form gleamed with the warmth of candlelight, edges shimmering like the softest silk draped in gold. There was no sharpness to the figure, only a presence that felt as gentle as a lullaby, or the last note of a lullaby echoing in a safe room. Edwin felt neither surprise nor fear, only a blooming peace, as though he had always known that such comfort often finds those who wait quietly for it. The spirit's eyes were kind, deep, wise glow, familiar as the first star glimpsed after dusk. You might imagine sensing that someone dear is near, the feeling of being watched over with deep tenderness. The room filled with a subtle music, fragile as wind chimes on a windless night. The visitor spoke with a voice like whispered velvet. You tend your shop with such care, Edwin. On nights of warmth and wonder, it is good to remember all you have loved and all who have loved you. The words were a balm to Edwin, gently untangling any threads of loneliness, inviting him deeper into the stillness. He whispered, "Who are you?" The candle seemed to lean in, the air brimming with anticipation. "I am a light that lives within hope and kindness," the visitor replied. "A memory of comfort, here to keep you company when the world slows and brightens in the same quiet moment. Close your eyes and let candlelight carry you. There is nothing to fear in remembering." A gentle quiet swept through the shop. Edwin felt the tension in his shoulders loosen, softer than snow drifting from the eaves. The visitor's hands, barely more than golden silhouettes, gestured to the shelves of well-loved books. Each story on these shelves is a lamp you tended in another season, the visitor continued, and every memory within them glimmers in you still. You have never been truly alone within these walls. With that, the spirit's subtle light danced from corner to corner, drawing out the faintest scent of pine, a flicker of remembered laughter, the ghost of children's voices playing in the street long ago. You might picture the feeling of sitting by a crackling fire, wrapped in a soft quilt, hearing familiar stories weaving around you. Each candle in the bookshop burned a little brighter for a moment, gilding the dusk with hope and warmth. Let yourself rest, gentle keeper of stories. The visitor's voice caressed the quiet. Tonight, you are wrapped in all the gentle moments you have shared. I will keep watch as you sleep. The bookshop, shrouded in candlelight and dreams, felt embraced by the certainty that every comfort, every kindness, and every soft memory would linger to warm the night. As Edwin's gaze grew heavy, the visitor's glow mingled with simple peace, ready to guide him gently toward golden memories and bright, welcoming dreams. All that was left was stillness, candlelight, and a presence made of every good thing that had ever called him home. Candlelight shimmered across the bookshop's wooden floor, bathing every corner in an envelope of calm. As Edwin settled into the gentle silence, the visitor's golden glow grew subtly richer, softly inviting a drift through time. If it feels right, allow yourself a long, comfortable breath, letting thoughts and worries melt gently away. "Come," the visitor whispered, voice as warm as spiced cider. "Let us walk together through the quiet garden of your memories." A gentle warmth flowed through Edwin. His eyes fluttered shut, and with them came a new glow. The bookshop softened and for a moment melted away, giving passage to a world woven from memory and light. The first memory flickered into being, delicate, as a snowflake. Edwin was a small boy again, his feet swinging from an old wooden chair beside a crackling hearth. His mother's hands, flour-dusted, set a loaf of golden bread before him, steam curling upward to mingle with the scent of apple and cinnamon. The kitchen windows were fogged crystalline with winter, and laughter tumbled along beams decked in simple pine. Perhaps you recall a moment like this, a table lovingly set, warmth pooling around you, the mingled aroma of bread and spice. Gentle voices filled the kitchen, soft as woolen mittens. Outside, snow fell, but inside, there was only comfort and gentle togetherness. The visitor's presence glowed at Edwin's side. Each simple act of care, the spirit's voice murmured, is a gift tucked away in the story of your heart. The scene shifted. Now Edwin was older, curled upon a fraying armchair in the golden circle of firelight. Shadows danced as his father read aloud from a dog-eared book of winter tales, the cadence of each story rising and falling like the wind outside. The gentle quiet carried the flutter of page turns and the tick of a clock, the comforting warmth of belonging. You can almost picture yourself in that firelit nook, the sound of a comforting voice, the feel of a favorite blanket tucked around your knees, the soft glow making the whole room gentle. In that space, every story promised safety and gentle dreams. With every memory, perhaps your breathing has become slower. Let yourself simply rest in this softness. The visitor's silhouette flickered, a ribbon of gold swirling through memory. Stories linger, even as years pass, the spirit said kindly. They are lanterns we hang for one another, shining through the longest nights. Another soft turn, and now Edwin was grown, his bookshop alive with the gentle bustle of friends' voices. There was the rustle of wrapping paper, the crisp crackle as ribbon curled beneath practiced hands, and the laughter that floated sweetly beneath evergreen boughs strung along the ceiling. Platters gleamed with baked apples and sugared nuts, the fragrance blending with sharp pine needles tangled in mittens tossed beside the fire. Maybe you remember a gathering like this, the heat of mugs pressed between cold palms, velvet dusk settling beyond window panes, and music drifting just above the laughter. Each face shone in the candlelight, every smile a shared secret of joy. The visitor let the memory rest, wrapping Edwin in soft appreciation. Small joys, a friend's laughter, a familiar song, the scent of pine. These are the true treasures the season brings. Each moment is a gentle gift, never lost. Another memory glowed, gentle and slow. Edwin, alone but never lonely, wandering twilight streets wrapped in a thick scarf, gathering holly and fir to tuck into the shop's old vases. The snow crunched softly under his boots, and gentle voices chimed from open windows, each one a thread in a warm holiday tapestry. The town's windows blinked with golden light, signaling welcomes, kindness, and peace. Let yourself relax into this scene. A winter's walk, the frosted air nipped with promise, the tingle of pine needles cool beneath your gloves, and the anticipation of homecoming at the end of the lane. Back in the glow of memory, Edwin watched these moments glimmer, strung together like stars across a velvet December sky. The visitor's gentle hand hovered at his shoulder, a persistent, reassuring warmth. "You are part of every light you remember," the spirit whispered, "and every kindness shared leaves its gentle flame burning through the years. Rest in these memories, Edwin. Let them wrap you close." For a while, Edwin drifted, buoyed by memories of warmth, of baked apples and ribboned packages, storybook laughter and mittened friends, blanket-wrapped evenings and candlelit peace. Every gentle memory twined softly around him, offering comfort, promise, and the certainty that joy once found forever remains near. Perhaps, as you listen, you can feel your own gentle recollections blossoming, moments of warmth, kindness, and comfort. Let them shine quietly for you, gentle and steady, guiding you ever deeper into rest. The glow within the bookshop softened, as if every candle sensed the deep, golden calm blooming in Edwin's chest. The visitor lingered beside him, their light gentle, steady as breath in a quiet room. "You have carried so much light, simply by being kind," the visitor murmured, each word unfolding like the glow along a candle's wick. "It is not grand gestures that brighten the long winter, but the smallest warmth, the sharing of a cup of tea, a patient ear, or a thoughtful word." As Edwin listened, the gentle illumination seemed to gather around them, candle flames multiplying, reflections folding softly along glass, wood, and book spines. The shop's air shimmered with this warmth, a quiet wave that grew not louder, but richer, stitched through with the memory of every kind moment held here. Take a deeper breath, letting any last tension slip away, as gently as candlelight folds into dusk. Each season finds its magic when we choose to share it, the visitor continued, voice tender as velvet. A smile at the right moment, the gentle gift of a story well loved, a curve of laughter shared across a table. These are the quiet joys that linger and become the heart of the holiday. Edwin felt gratitude unfurl through him, gentle and patient, as if new roots were reaching through the earth of his heart, grounding him in every kindness received and given. He remembered the feeling of passing a favorite book into waiting hands, or a grateful glance exchanged on a snowbound morning. How these moments glowed long after the world outside had frosted over. You might find yourself remembering, too, those gentle gestures, so small they almost passed unnoticed, and yet they soften the winter and promise warmth in the coldest season. Perhaps you can recall the quiet lift of hope when you have been offered understanding, or the solace found in sharing a silent cup of tea with a friend. Take comfort in knowing, the visitor said gently, that every hope you share, every kindness, is a flame given to the world. Even the faintest light can brighten the darkest evening when it is offered freely. Their presence seemed to span the shop, brushing over every shelf and worn rug, making shadows drift and soften until all was awash in calm reassurance. The candle flames drew close, golden halos dancing gently. The visitor's light shimmered, weaving between them, blessing each ordinary and beautiful moment with its gentle warmth. Christmas lives in the promise of quiet joys ahead, Edwin. Tomorrow will hold new chances for comfort and laughter, for shared stories and gentle peace. Edwin's heart felt lighter than it had in many winters, buoyed by gratitude and hope that glowed softly as the candle lit walls. He nodded, letting his eyes close for a moment, letting each affirmation settle. The bookshop seemed to sigh in relief, basking in the certainty that kindness, once kindled, never truly flickered out. The visitor's final words hung in the air, soft as a snowfall. Rest tonight, keeper of stories. The small wonders of this world will always find you, the glimmer of flame, the warmth of hands held, the joy woven into every quiet act. Let these gentle promises guide your dreams. Perhaps your breathing has grown deeper. Allow your mind to soften as calmness folds around you. Night yields slowly in the gentle world of the bookshop, as if dawn itself is reluctant to disturb the perfect peace laid down by candlelight and dreams. The glow outside the window begins, faint gold slipping through frosted glass, softening every edge while Edwin drifts between sleep and waking. Pillows cradle his head, and the blanket's woolen weight rests warm and familiar across his shoulders. At first, only the quietest sounds filter through. A gentle note of birdsong rising from the branches outside, a far-off bell chiming the new day into being. Each melody slips around Edwin, carrying him upward, softly atop a tide of restful comfort. He inhales, slow and deep, and the air is tinged with the sweet promise of morning. The aroma greets him, golden-topped bread and sugared buns, still holding a memory of Mrs. Harper's caring hands. The scent drifts through the little flat above the shop, warm and bright, drawing Edwin awake like a gentle invitation. He blinks open his eyes and lets them wander over the quiet corners, the beams honeyed by the day's first light, a patchwork quilt tumbling in gentle folds, the familiar shelves lining the walls. Each page and polished doorknob glimmers softly, as if crowned with dawn's delicate touch. If you wish, settle a little deeper, letting the warmth of this gentle morning carry you, body and mind, into comfort. Edwin stretches, the contentment of sleep curling pleasantly through his limbs. For a long moment, he simply soaks in the gentle stillness, letting gratitude bloom like a flower in sunlight. He is surrounded by comfort, the whisper of age-old pine garlands, the soft weight of the morning, and the knowledge that kindness waits just steps away. He pads softly to the kitchenette, feet finding the cool wood floor. The soft click of the kettle echoes, then the rising sigh as steam begins to swirl. Each movement is familiar and gentle. A teacup placed on the counter, a spoon settling with the faintest clink. The scent of black tea unfurls, mingling with bread and spice, wrapping the small room in fragrant warmth. Sunlight streams through the frosted window panes, scattering flecks of gold across Edwin's hands as he butters a fresh bun. He pauses, feeling the quiet abundance, a breakfast shaped by friendship, a home filled with memory and peace. Through the walls, the distant bell sings again, gentle and sure, twining its music with early birds calling beyond the snowy eaves. You can imagine the comfort of such a morning. The soft tranquility is filled not with emptiness, but with gentle promise, every sense buoyed by warmth, flavor, and gentle sound. With tea in hand, Edwin moves slowly through the bookshop below. Morning light gilds the spines and dances along the dust motes. The air is mellow, touched with stories waiting patiently in every corner. He rests by the window, watching the village stir beneath a shimmering blanket of white. The world feels patient, inviting, and whole. As Edwin sips and watches, he allows himself to linger in gratitude for the kindness of a neighbor, the memory of the visitor's gentle words, and the everyday magic stitched into ordinary rituals. Opening his door at last to the world beyond, he feels the tender glow of dawn woven through everything. The day holds gentle promise. Simple joys, the sharing of tea, the kindness of bread left behind, sunlight scattered on storybook shelves, gather quietly in his heart. Within this golden morning, every comfort remains close, and hope opens once more, as warmly as the door beneath Edwin's hand. The day unfolded slowly within the bookshop, every moment drawn in threads of gentle golden light. The morning chill had softened, pressed back by the steady warmth of the old radiators and the lingering aroma of sugared bread. Edwin moved through the quiet, unhurried, his heart still wrapped in comfort. The little bell above the door chimed with an easy song as Mrs. Harper entered again, her cheeks rosy bright with the air of a new day. She carried another basket beneath her arm, this one filled with thick slices of bread tucked in a linen napkin, each slice dappled with bright fruit and a sprinkle of sugar. "Good morning, Edwin," she greeted softly, setting her gift on the counter. Her voice was gentle, woven with kindness. Edwin smiled, his own voice warm and certain. "And good morning to you, Mrs. Harper. You bring the sun with you, I think." She laughed, a sound light as frost melting on the eaves. "Only a bit of warmth. I thought perhaps we could share a proper breakfast while the village finds its way into the day." The two moved to the small round table near the window, the cracked porcelain teapot between them. Edwin poured, and the tea slid smoothly, a curl of steam spiraling upward. The delicate sounds, the tinkle of a spoon, the gentle rustle of napkins, the soft snap as bread was torn, wove together, filling the bookshop with quiet music. Outside, life gathered pace, yet remained subdued. Through the glass, Edwin watched villagers greet one another beneath winter scarves, watched shopkeepers sweep snowy steps. The distant sound of a child's laughter lilted down the lane. Every detail was tender, the world gently waking as if it too was savoring a moment of warmth before the day grew busy. Mrs. Harper passed him a plate, her eyes shining. There is something special in a morning like this, when there is time for kindness and time to taste the sweetness in life. He nodded, grateful. "I sometimes think every loaf of bread is baked from a wish for such mornings." They ate in companionable stillness, savoring each bite, the bread light and fragrant, touched with orange peel and currants, the tea deep and mellow. Every sip and mouthful felt like a gentle celebration, a quiet affirmation that comfort was woven from the smallest acts. You might imagine the feeling, the savory tang on your tongue, the warmth of a cup held between your hands, the low murmur of old friends sharing a peaceful table. As the meal lingered, Mrs. Harper's gaze drifted to the rows of books, their spines gleaming softly. "You know, Edwin," she said, "your shop always feels brighter at Christmas." He glanced around, the words soaking in like sunlight. "Maybe it does, or perhaps it's the stories, gathering themselves, waiting to be shared. Or maybe it's simply kindness lighting each day." She reached across the table, her palm resting a moment on his hand. "Whatever it is, it's a gift. Thank you for every story, every welcome." Edwin squeezed her hand, his own heart full. "And thank you for every warmth you bring, not just to this table, but to the whole village." Time seemed to rest, sweet and everlasting, in their gentle gratitude. Small joys sparkled all around, a ray of light on old wood, the echo of a bell, the promise of another story waiting nearby. The shop's walls held it all tenderly. The laughter, the crumbs, the piece stitched by two friends, and the village they cherished. Beyond the window, snowflakes twirled in lazy spirals, softening the world to velvet edges. As Mrs. Harper gathered her scarf and promised to return with more bread before the week's end, Edwin watched her go with a quiet, certain happiness. He stood for a moment in the stillness, letting gratitude fill him, and felt the shop itself chiming with a deeper, brighter song, a gentle pulse of belonging. There were books waiting, stories longing to be shared, and neighbors to greet as the day ambled forward. The little world of the bookshop glowed brighter, filled with the gentle promise that every simple act of warmth, every shared bite and blessed word was a beacon for tomorrow's hope. Tonight, there would be new stories told, new kindness kindled, and until then, peace lay softly everywhere it was needed. Thank you for joining us. Sweet dreams. As the gentle melodies of our Christmas sleep story drift away, let your heart settle even more softly into this winter night. You have gathered comforts, both old and new, like candlelight in quiet corners, each one a gentle promise that warmth and kindness remain close wherever you are. Let the gentle glow of Edwin's bookshop linger in your thoughts, a place of soft miracles, golden mornings, and the gentle quiet of snow drifting beyond frosted glass. Imagine the peace that fills each page, every cherished memory shimmering in the gentle light. Rest now in the confidence that kindness weaves its warmth through all your hours, both waking and dreaming. In each gentle memory and every dream yet to come, you are wrapped in comfort and care, surrounded by hope and gentle promise. Now, let your mind grow quieter in the gentle afterglow of our story. Let each breath settle you ever deeper, inviting restful sleep. Thank you truly for joining us in this peaceful story. May your night be restful, your dreams gentle, and your heart light with the magic of the season. Sweet dreams.